Hello everyone, Neve here, and I am going to go over all of the decks that I got for 2025, and this is going to have to be a two-parter because I just pulled out all my decks, and I have 15 tarot decks, and this was 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 oracles. So I'm not going to be able to cover all of those. So I'm going to do a tarot part and an oracle part. This is, of course, from my spiritual journal from 2025 and the new decks page. So here's a sneak peek of all the tarot decks that I got. So let's start pulling out some decks. All right, so the first, I've organized these in like groups. So the first stack here, I have 3 tarots here. So this was probably the first one that I got in 2025. I almost said 2026. And it's definitely my favorite bag. So let me move these ones out of the way real quick so I can show off this one. So this was probably my favorite bag that I made of the year. I loved the little tabs. And this is, of course, for the Desert Illuminations Tarot. I really love the way this bag turned out, and So since I have 15 decks to go through, I think I'm just going to very quickly flip through the decks that I got. So these are the cool backs. And I love the edging on this. This is, of course, the mass market version. I have to be honest, though, I have hardly touched this deck this year. I think I've only used it, I don't know. I think I used it as my nightly reader one week, and that may have been the only time I've used it. So I have not used this deck very much at all this year. I like it because it kind of reminds me of where I grew up. I grew up in the Mojave Desert in Southern California, and I'm from 29 Palms, California. So a lot of this imagery is very familiar to me. I think this is more like New Mexico, and which would make sense with all the aliens and stuff. But there's a lot of this that makes me think of where I grew up too. So I'm a big fan of this. I love the colorway. It's just I haven't touched it. I've not really. I think I did that 1 week of nightly reading with it, and I probably used it for a moon reading, but then didn't touch it since. So I will have to remedy that this year. So really cool. So that is the Desert Illuminations, with probably the coolest bag of the year, for sure. Love how this one turned out. All right, so the next one in that grouping was the Tarot Landscapes. All right, so this one was kind of a consolation for me. So I really wanted, I think it was the Majestic Earth or something like that. But that one's super hard to find now. It's way out of print. Whereas this one is a mass market one, and I did quite like the imagery and stuff in this. I'm just going to pull out some of them. Here's the bag that I made for it, by the way. I like it. The canvas fabric was a bit different than I was expecting when it came in, so I'm not super thrilled with the type of canvas this was, because I think it's it's kind of got this waterproof layer. I think it's meant for outdoor canvas furniture. Sorry, I still have a little bit of my cough left. I apologize for that. But I do like the colors that I used on this. So this one's a bit different than the Majestic Earth, of course. It's a little bit more fantastical, a little bit more illustration style, and kind of cutesy. I don't love the cardstock on it, and I'm not a big fan of the backs. But I do really like this deck, and I kind of use it a bit more like an oracle rather than a tarot, just because when I lay this card out, especially for meditations, and it's I first sort of feel myself in this space. I feel myself in this landscape, and then I am paying attention to what card it is it's hard not to pay attention to that right away. But I try not to focus on the card itself, like the Seven of Swords here, and pay more attention to the area that this is taking place in. And then I sort of feel that out, and then I connect it to the tarot card. And I usually pull another tarot to go along with this. I don't often pull more than one card from this, and that's what I mean when I say that I kind of use this one like it's an oracle rather than a tarot, even though it is a tarot. Yeah, I do like it though. It's been a nice meditative sort of deck, and I bet I could utilize it with perhaps the Oracle of Many Paths, which is also technically a tarot, and in this video here. Yeah, so really cool deck. There we go. Now, the last one from this grouping of 3 here was the Witch's Tarot. And I took it out of its box, and I have the tarot along with the guidebook here. And I took out all of the extra cards because I wasn't a big fan of them. It's more that a lot of them, one, I don't like to have oracle decks mixed in with my tarot decks. Oh, and this one is going to be finicky because there's a lot of nudity in this, and YouTube gets very weird about that. So I'll show what I can. Yeah, so the thing is with this deck, it came with a bunch of added oracle cards, and there's I don't know, 15 of them. I don't know the exact number, but some of them I really like, and some of them I'm not too keen on because they're kind of deity focused, and I like to. I have very specific criteria when it comes to my deity decks and stuff. So yeah, but so this deck, I really like it. I love the cardstock on it. It's very thin and bendy, but it's got kind of a rose petal finish, and it's very, very easy to shuffle. Let me see if I can give this a little shuffle here. It's super bendy, and it's beautiful to shuffle. Really love that. But the only kind of negative to this deck is that the imagery seems to have almost nothing to do with the cards themselves. So it's beautiful, beautiful photography, very deep, very mysterious, and I do actually enjoy using this deck with On Morrigan because of the general feel of this deck is right up my alley. It's very dark and mysterious, and I like it. It's definitely got a vibe to it, but it doesn't really have much to do with the cards themselves. So, and it's kind of okay for me. I've, once I accepted, okay, this is going to be a deck that I pay attention to what the card is. And some of the cards you could glean a meaning from it. But a lot of them are very just, it doesn't quite make sense. Oh, there's boobies in that one. Oh, boobies in that one. But yeah, so anyway, oh, big booby. All right, there we go. And if it was up to me, I would show all the boobies because I don't care, but YouTube can be weird about that. So, yeah, so it's definitely a deck that's a vibe for sure. But you have to go into it understanding that the imagery doesn't necessarily have much to do with the card itself, and the guidebook is of no help. The guidebook just gives basic interpretations of the cards, which is fine, and I almost don't even need that in to keep this with the deck, but I kind of do. Yeah, so I don't know how many. Yeah, it doesn't even have the oracle cards in the guidebook. But it is a really, really beautiful deck. So I'm really happy to have it. I do utilize it. Yeah, there we go. All right, stack 2 here. So let's do it like that. Yeah, so I have 2 of the Arcana decks from Taylor Bryn or Taylor Holkis Todd, and then I also have the Alchemical Tarot here. I might lay out all 3 of these together and just flip through like that. So, yeah, so these Arcana decks, one of them I got from Mother's Day and one I got for my birthday, I believe. And both were from my husband, of course. So these are, I now have 3 out of the 4 Arcana decks of the 4 elements, anyways, because I know there's also a mythical one, and I don't have that one, and a cat one too, but I don't have that one. But anyway, so the backs are pretty similar. The Earth one, the Terra is more green, and the Ignis is more orange. And then this one has more earthly animals like elephants and gorillas and wolves, etc. Yeah, and then this one has more like lizard type creatures and an alligator of some sort. Yeah, so this one has a lot of dinosaurs in it, and I really like that. And then, of course, I have the alchemical tarot here in the middle, and these are actually a pretty cool combination. Yeah, so I'm planning, I will be getting all 4 because I actually backed the Ventum Arcana on Kickstarter, so I will be getting that in the next month or 2, I believe, if I remember the last update. So stay tuned for that one. But I kind of planned to use all of the Arcana decks as you know, together, all 4 decks together as an elemental sort of read. And I'm still not quite sure where I'm going to go with it, but I definitely want to use all 4 together. And these decks are beautiful. They're kind of dark. Well, not kind of dark. They're very dark. Like this is actually super hard to see in person. It shows up brighter on camera, and I know the lighting is a bit off here. I will adjust lighting and coloring in editing, but yeah, so I mean, it's you know, the artwork is stunningly beautiful, but it is very, very dark. This is super dark in person. You almost can't even see what's back here. Yeah, but and then oh gosh, the Alchemical Tarot. Sorry, I completely spaced on the name. The Alchemical Tarot was something that's been on my list for a long time. Pretty much all of Robert M. Place's decks have been on my list. There's something very esoteric, very kind of high-minded about about his decks, and so very deep, but deep in a very cerebral kind of way, and that's probably the best term for his decks, is they're very cerebral. And so I've had his decks on my list for quite some time, and this is the first of his decks that I received. Ooh, I should skip past that one. And of course I picked the raunchy lovers card because there were 2 options. One was very tame, and of course I would rather have that one. So yeah, anyway, so I love how these actually go together pretty well. I just kind of laid them out because they seemed kind of similar, but yeah, so that is the Ignis Arcana, the Terra Arcana, and excuse me, I'm gonna cough, and the Alchemical Tarot. All right. Okay, the next little pile are 2 related decks here, and that is the Cracked Amethyst Tarot with the mini Idiosyncra deck. So I also got the the Amethyst Oracle, but that's going to be in the Oracle video. So we're just going to do the 2 tarots in this one. Okay, I've zoomed in a little bit, and I've just kind of laid out something here to kind of showcase the 2 decks. So these are basically 2 versions of the same deck, and it's not necessarily a mini version of this one. So the creator, Jessica Bott, I believe, came out with the Idiosyncra deck several years ago, and it was a big hit, but you know, it was a limited run, and ended up, you know, not making any more and was going to be done with it. And then she decided to kind of revamp her illustration style, and her skills had kind of grown and evolved. So she wanted to come out with a better version of the Idiosyncra deck, and that is how the Cracked Amethyst came to be. But so many people loved the Idiosyncra deck that she brought it back for kind of a limited run of a mini version. And yeah, and I think a lot of people were really happy about that. I was very excited about that. And the mini version is fabulous because the Idiosyncra deck was such a more simple style. Simple artwork. It works really, really well for a mini version, a mini deck, because everything's like really simple, clean, and easy to see. Yeah. Anyway, and I think it just like the two decks are really, really nice, and so it's nice having this. Good quality deck here, the nice large version, and then having this one. And I've really started to focus a lot on the mini decks because I've started to, my practice has kind of moved toward that tableau style reading. Not completely, but because of that, with tableau reading, that's some big spreads. And so mini cards kind of are perfect for tableau style reading. And so I've really enjoyed the Idiosyncra deck for that reason. But the Cracked Amethyst is also stunning. And yeah, and I hope to, maybe I'll use it in February. I'm not sure, or March. February, March, I think is when I'm going to use the Cracked Amethyst more thoroughly, I think. Yeah, but loving these two decks. Oh, and the back, I didn't even show the backs. So here's the back of the Cracked Amethyst, and here is the back for the Idiosyncra deck. Very cool. Love how these work together, and I've really enjoyed kind of mixing this one with the Amethyst Oracle, which is also a mini and the same size. So I've kind of I've split the deck up a few times and like randomly and like shuffled together different parts of both decks and kind of laid out tableau spreads using both decks, which has also been really fun. Yeah, but and the cardstock for the Cracked Amethyst it's kind of got that rose petal finish, but it's very, very shuffleable. The cardstock is very bendy, and it's not as thin as the Witch's Tarot, because both of these have that rose petal finish, and are both very bendy, but this one is a bit thinner than the Cracked Amethyst. So very good quality. Okay, so the next pile right here, I have 3 decks, and yeah. So what I have is the Celestial Unicorn Tarot, the Storyboard Tarot, and the full-size version of the Gentle Tarot. So the Gentle Tarot that I got, I actually already had the mini version, but if you've watched my deck declutter video, I'm really considering giving that one up. And one of the things that I was wanting to do was perhaps trade it for the full size, or I don't know if this is a full, like it's got a few different sizes. This is the linen version, but trading it for a more full size with someone, but I ended up trading a different deck for this Gentle Tarot, and the person that I traded with made this beautiful bag to go with it, and it's stunning. This beautiful crochet bag. Yeah, so, and there's a little bit of a story behind this, but it's kind of, basically the person who I traded with was a good friend of mine, and we had a bit of a falling out. So, yeah. all very sad. You know, yeah, such is life. Make friends, lose friends. Hopefully, make friends again in the future. Yeah, but anyway, it's a very lovely bag, very high quality, and did a very good job crocheting this. All right, so the 3 decks I have here. So the Celestial Unicorn Tarot I actually got in a Witch's Moon box, and it is not the kind of deck that I would get on my own. I'm not really a unicorn fan, so this was kind of a this deck kind of came into my collection, not of my will, basically. But I'm actually been kind of surprised by it. Now I've only used it a little bit, but and the art style, it's a bit computer graphic-y. Not quite my style, but I do love the fire suit here, the wands. For some reason, the fire cards I'm really drawn to. So it's, you know, I like it more than I thought I would, and I think that's what I'm trying to say. I like this more than I thought I would, and I hope to use it in the next few months. It feels very springy, maybe early summer, perhaps height of summer even. Even these winter cards. There's something about this deck that feels, yeah, very summery, or yeah, more spring and early summer. And then the Storyboard Tarot. This has been a big winner in my collection. I've used it a few times. I used it for 1 week for my nightly reader, and I used it a few times for moon readings, and I think just for some general pulls, I've used this deck, and it's very interesting. I kind of like kind of creating a spread from the broken apart pictures, and that's one of the things I like about this deck is it's like it's like it takes the card and breaks it up into 3 or 4 aspects, and from that you can kind of pull cards from other decks as a sort of add-on to it, as a clarifier of the different, like basically making a spread out of one card. And it's a really cool. I love the backs are really neat too. It's very gardeny, very pretty, very kind of. It's almost kind of old lady-ish, but in like a really nice way. I really like this deck quite a bit. So yeah, so that is the Storyboard Tarot, and I do like that there's Chinese on here. So I am, I've been learning Japanese for a while, and Chinese and Japanese share a lot of kanji, and so like for this death card, I can see that is the kanji for death in Chinese and Japanese, and that is the kanji for like divine being, like a god or something like that. Like a kami. So it is the personification of death itself. So that's pretty cool that I get to have that element to this deck. And then the Gentle Tarot here. So this is a beautiful, beautiful deck. I've never had a problem with the artwork itself. I've really just had, so I have trouble with the renaming of the suits. I constantly forget that. And more specifically, I have trouble with the renaming of the court cards. And let me see if I can find one here. Of course, I'm not going to find a court card while I'm in a video, of course. 7 and 7. I am going to find a court card, I swear. I'm going to find a court card. Are all the court cards together in this deck? Okay, here's one. So we have the Seed of Wands, and I think this is a page. Yeah, so I think the courts are like seeds, roots, flowers, and harvest, and I think that's the order that they are in. However, if I pull a seed card, then I remember the order. But if I pull one of the other ones, like let's say a flower card, I often forget the order, and I forget which what the suits are. And this has been so incredibly frustrating every time I've tried to use this deck. Not this one, the mini one is the one that I've had for a few years now. And it just, it gives me the opposite of gentleness because I get so frustrated reading with this deck because of the renamed courts specifically. The suits are actually not that bad, but it's the court cards that I just really, really struggle with. And so yeah, it was enough that I wanted to just get rid of the deck. But yeah, anyway, it is a beautiful, beautiful deck, though, and now that I have a larger size, maybe I might be able to, and this linen version is so easily shuffleable. Oh, I have all the extra cards in the middle of this deck. But yeah, it's so easily shuffleable. They're very bendy. And yeah, really enjoy this. There's more extra cards. I really did not. I must have shuffled these. Yeah, anyway. So it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. I hope I can finally be able to bond with it in the way that I had hoped from the beginning. Okay, so the next two, right here, we have, this is the Oracle of Many Paths, and also the Klimt Tarot, the Pocket Edition. So let me pull this out. Woohoo! Woo! I got extra cards here. All right. That's probably upside down now. That's okay. All right, so we have the Oracle of Many Paths and the Klimt Tarot. So I really like these two decks together, actually. So one of the things I was doing, in fact, and I could just lay out a single card like that. I would start off with the path itself and then lay out like a line. This is the path. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the path that we're going down, basically. The start of the path, and I could also do an end of a path, like with another card here. So maybe like that. I don't know. I haven't done. I've pretty much just done the one card with 5 of the Klimt Tarot. But I really like these decks together. There's something about them that just kind of connect. So I'm pretty happy with this combination. Yeah, so the Oracle of Many Paths, this is by James R. Eads. It was a Kickstarter that I backed, and I would have put it in the Oracle section. However, it is technically a tarot, so it is not just an Oracle. It is kind of an Oracle and a tarot, kind of like that Tarot Landscapes. And in fact, it's a very similar kind of style. Not the artwork, but like the types of cards. Yeah, it's, because it's a scenery, it's a place. You're kind of feeling the place first, and then kind of connecting it with the tarot. And because the cards are only numbered 0 through 78, I think, because they're just numbered, it doesn't have the name of the tarot card on there. So you could straight up just use it like an oracle, and I do kind of like that. But I do want to go through and kind of do a deep study of this deck and memorize the different numbers and connect it to the different cards themselves. That is something that I hope to do at some point. It's probably going to be like 5 years from now. Who knows? But yeah. And then the Klimt Tarot, this was just a deck that I've been wanting for a while. And then, the pocket version was super cheap. It was like $12, if that. It was very, very cheap. And I, like I said, I've been really enjoying smaller decks lately. I love the shininess of this, the gold foiling, really cool. Oh, let me focus there. Focus. Are you gonna focus? There we go. Yeah, love the gold foiling on it. And the backs are pretty cool too. This artwork is amazing. Of course, it's Klimt. So it's beautiful. And all the cards kind of have a similar vibe. So once you've seen a few, you've seen them all. So I don't really need to flip out a whole bunch. But yeah. But I've really enjoyed it with the Oracle of Many Paths too. So yeah, big fan of these. Okay, so the final pile, last two decks are the last two decks that I got in the year. Will I lay them side by side? I'm not sure. Let me just flip through them separately because they're very, very different, so they don't quite go together. And of course, that's the Somnia Tarot, which I just had a video. I think it's a video right before this one. Is a walkthrough of this deck. So I won't spend too much time on this, just because I just went through this. I've talked about these decks, the two Somnia decks at length in my past few videos, so I'll keep this short. And of course, I also got the Somnia Oracle, which will be in the part 2 of the decks that I got in 2025. Yeah. I love this, though. The artwork, I mean, the photography artwork is just, I mean, evocative. And I mean, yeah, it's a deep, it's a disturbing deck. Yeah. There's not a whole lot I can really say about this deck because it's like, it kind of speaks for itself in like this eerie, almost doomsday kind of imagery. Yeah. And I'm still not quite sure how I want to use the decks because they're so deep, they're so evocative, that it feels wrong to use them as like everyday readers, you know. But I'm sure I will, just to kind of get used to the imagery, get used to the feel of this deck. But yeah, so I've also recently did a deck pairing. I did deck pairing in the video my last video for this, but I also am starting a series on my Instagram where I am doing I'm just doing a deck pairing a month, and I pick a deck and then have like 4 or 5 other decks that I'm pairing with it, and a poll on my Instagram. Though the polls apparently only let you do 4 options, so I guess I'm gonna have to stick with 4 decks. Yeah, so picking 4 decks to pair with a random deck of mine. Maybe it's a new deck, maybe it's just one I'm interested in seeing some pairings for, and it's just a way for me to get some interaction with my small audience on Instagram. I've also posted it on TikTok, though TikTok doesn't have a poll option, so it's basically just comment your favorite. Unfortunately, like, I don't think they're doing, like, my posts on it did not perform well on either platform, especially on TikTok. Like, no one seemed to like it on TikTok. Yeah, but on Instagram, I got Robin responded. Thank you, Robin. And like one other person as of the filming of this video, but like only like a couple likes and pretty much no response. But yeah, so anyway, the first pairing that I did was this deck and the Oracle for it. Yeah, and so if you are interested, go check that out on my Instagram and or TikTok, and interact with it, please. And I'm trying to interact with my audience a bit more and try to get some more engagement going. So yeah, yeah. And speaking of, if you have a favorite deck of all the ones that I've received this year, put it in the comments, and I want to know what your thoughts are. All right, and the final deck. So the final deck is the Horror Tarot, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a walkthrough of this very soon. I don't think it's going to be this month. I think it'll be in February, but I will have a walkthrough of this deck as well, with some pairings and stuff. So let me get this out of the way. Woo! The box was a little unruly there. So this is a mass market deck, and so it was not very expensive, but I've had it on my list for a while, and I finally just picked it up because, you know, it's kind of been called the like Castlevania deck, and I agree, even though it's not officially Castlevania, but it's got that feeling to it, and I don't have a whole lot of decks with this sort of vibe to it. I mean, I guess I'm sort of getting some more because the Witch's Tarot is kind of dark, and the Somnia Tarot is pretty dark too. So I guess I'm gathering a collection of these darker decks. But this one is a bit more, you know, lighter. It's a bit lighter because it's animated. It's almost, it feels very Castlevania, so it's got that sort of feel to it as well. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of this one, and I'm looking forward to doing the walkthrough of this and testing out some pairings. So that is the Horror Tarot, and it's by Insight Editions. I think Minerva Siegel did this one too. I don't remember. Let's see, illustrated by Abigail Larson and by Arya Gmitter and Minerva Siegel, of course. So cool. That is the last deck that I got, a tarot deck that I got in 2026 or 2025. And yeah, so this is part one. Part two will probably be in February, and it is going to be all of the Oracle decks that I got in 2025. All right, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.